Welcome back. Now, as we're heading to wrap up 2023 this morning, we look into trends we saw and some we took part in as a country throughout the year. These are some of the most searched people, topics, questions and events for the past 12 months. Also the dance challenges, heightened interest in celebrities, sporting events and special observed days. Now to discuss this, we're joined by SABC News Multimedia Manager Luvuyo Mdeni. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Live. I want to talk about the most Googled topics or trends this year. What are those?
We've had a very interesting year. I think if we bring up on screen one of the most Googled topics that we had a top 10 that we looked at in terms of what was trending on Google. Yeah. And in fact, when we look at it, number 10 is Taylor. Okay. Taylor started trending a couple of weeks ago, right, after she released her song, and the hits just went up. And from then on, when we looked at what else was trending, everything that we looked at that was trending over the past year on Google seems to relate to AKA. Yeah. Number 9 is Anele Tembe. Right. Now, you'll remember Anele Tembe, AKA's former girlfriend who passed on. She's trending, she was top searched in South Africa at number 9. Number 8 is Simpiwe Simdope Kumete. Okay. If you'd remember
talking at the funeral, yeah.
After the funeral, that's when this big hoo-ha came about to say, who is Simpiwe Kumete? We know there's a song called Slim Dope, but after then, that's where the searches really came up. So, and at number 7 was Steve Harvey. Funny enough, with Steve Harvey, there was a rumor that his wife cheated on him and the likes. And that's how this now became number 7 in terms of the most Googled. Number 6, we had Derek Howard. Number 5, Andrew Tate. And number 4 is Dr. Nandipha Makutumane.
I thought you'd be higher up.
No, actually, Dr. Nandipha Makutumane is actually at number 4. And this is because, if you remember, this is around March. This is when people started having the interest in terms of who's Dr. Nandipha Makutumane. Number 3 relates to AKA, which is Nadia Nakai. Number 2, Sign Buji, because of the video that happened early this year. And number 1, Thabo Bester.
Of course, that was you see. That's why I said maybe I thought Nandipha would be higher up because Thabo would be right up there with him.
Yes. See, the thing is, I think at the time everyone wanted to know who is this Thabo Bester character. So I think because of when it happened, the time of the year, this is where we'd see Dr. Nandipha coming up at number 4 and Thabo Bester at number 1, because the searches, when you look at when it happened in the year, that's the difference that we see with Thabo Bester being number 1 and Nandipha number 4. Yes.
And sports as well. You touched a little bit on Derek Howard as well, also trending there. The Springboks also winning the World Cup must have played a role in that too. I mean, we had an issue that we had Elizabeth this year. Yes. Tell us a little bit about sports.
If we looked at the top 5 searches in terms of the athletes on Google, what we see is that they were all the Springboks players. Yeah. So Springbok players, we had Chesden Kobe at number 5, Eben Elizabeth at number 4, Faf de Klerk at number 3, Bongi Mbombani at number 2, and then Sia Kolisi at number 1. And this is all because of the Rugby World Cup. So we did see a lot of sports in terms of Google searches based on sports.
Music-wise, let's talk about, you've also got on your screen in South Africa's World Cup moments. Before we move on, listen about that.
Oh, when we look at the World Cup moments, I think South Africa this year was not, we basically won the Rugby World Cup, but remember we're also part of the Cricket World Cup. Yes. Banyana also, so we had the Netball World Cup that happened in Cape Town. That's a World Cup moment that we basically put down. We had the Cricket World Cup as well, and Banyana also went on to the FIFA Women's World Cup. So the World Cups was also a big search in terms of South Africa this year. Yeah.
Also, the topics that caught your attention on X, there's a lot on X, eh? It's a lot.
There's a lot. I think when we come back to X, it's you can't really put it to a particular topic based on it's really based on what's happening. And when I come back to this picture, so this is what I found on X in terms of the topics that people have been speaking about the whole year. So if you look at this is basically
that's about
calendar
sums it up, yeah.
of what's been happening on X. You've got basically from AKA Dr. Nandi Pamakutumane.
10 past 4.
10 past 4 you've got. So this is basically a summary of what people have been talking about when we come back to the platform X.
And, you know, it's so easy to forget because now we're not talking about Dr. Matthew anymore.
We know.
You know what I mean?
We
We're
know.
having a conversation about Skomota and the argument about whether that's entertainment or not, and how did we get to this being entertainment.
Exactly. And it's that. I mean, for example, we see other challenges that also come up to the fold. And basically, people like to find some sort of entertainment throughout these platforms, regardless of what's happening in our social circumstances. So this is exactly it.
And, you know, it's interesting that we're ending the year again on, you know, on a very low note with Zahara's funeral. And if my memory serves me well, I think Robbie Malinga was buried around December as well. So December in the music industry in the music industry in South Africa is a sad time. The conversation about Amapiano, is it in there as well? How long are we still arguing with Nigeria about Amapiano?
Well, that's a conversation that literally happened, I think, mid-year, to say where there's a different sound, an Amapiano sound that was coming from Nigeria, to say, wait, is this the real Amapiano? Is this a fake Amapiano? So that's a conversation that we had literally sometime middle of the year. But it looks like from where we are right now, from my assertion, is that people have embraced both sounds.
Yeah.
And it stops being an argument to say which one is better, but it's just a case of these sounds are all great.
Yeah. As somebody who spends so much time on social media, which direction are we heading, South African social media? What trends are you seeing in terms of social media?
One thing that for me has become very interesting on social media is a short form video.
Okay.
And I think that's an area that's growing a lot.
Okay.
TikTok has really changed a lot of the social media space.
Yeah.
And when you look at music, I mean, you're having a conversation earlier on speaking about social media and its influence on Amapiano. We're starting to see social media influence certain sectors of society. So for me, that's very interesting in terms of short form video and mobile content, because that's where we're going now. Yeah.
And SABC Digital News, are we moving in that direction? Are we catching up? What's our viewership there?
We're there. So I think if you check us out on TikTok, we've got a very amazing TikTok channel. We're also on WhatsApp, on the WhatsApp channels. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So that's where we're going.
I love that. I love that. At least we're keeping up with the Joneses. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So speaking about the social media trends, SABC News Digital editor Luvuyo Mdeni and some of the topics or events that are trending this year, 2023. Stay with us.